The price of gas seems to be on everyone's mind. And when those prices go up, as we saw in 2008, everyone feels the pinch. But what about our farmers? How have they adapted to the rising cost of fuel in a world where every dollar counts?
Farms use a number of different fossil fuels in a couple different ways. The one that I think most people think about is diesel fuel. Obviously, they use it to run the tractors, but actually more of it is used to transport the output, the corn or soybeans or wheat, to market, to the elevator or to the terminal or ethanol plant. The second way that farms use energy, fossil fuels, is through drying of crops. Frequently when crops are harvested, they are not dry enough to be stored. Crops that are stored too wet will start to rot and decay. So therefore they have to have the moisture content reduced. That's usually accomplished through propane. The final way, and actually the biggest usage of energy on a farm today, is through nitrogen fertilizer. Nitrogen fertilizer is made using natural gas. And actually when we look at the energy input breakdown, certainly of corn, that's the largest contributor to energy usage. Historically, a farmer would use approximately $40 to $45 of fuel. On top of that, they historically spend about another $40 to $45 per acre on nitrogen fertilizer, so roughly $80 per acre. That equates in corn terms to about 50 cents per bushel. With current prices, with the run-up that we've had, instead of being approximately $80 to $90, it's now more like $160 to $170 per acre being spent on fossil fuels of various types, and that works out to be about $1 per bushel.
For small farm owners, the difference in fuel costs can be destructive to an already tight budget. But unfortunately, the cost of fuel is only one expense the farmer needs to worry about.
Current corn prices are about $4 per bushel, $3.50 to $4. And when we look at energy usage right now to produce corn, it costs farmers about $1 just in energy to produce that bushel of corn. And that's not including the cost of land, it's not including the cost of buying or replacing that machinery or any of the other costs. So that change, that doubling of energy prices in just the past few years has really impacted the margins of farmers. And so when we look at the impact to an Ohio farm, say 1,500 acres, maybe 750 acres of corn, that's an increase in probably about $100 per acre just in energy. And so that's $75,000 more that farm would have spent on energy than they would have in the year before. And so that's really a dramatic impact on the farm profitability.
So what can other farmers do to try to cut back their usage of energy? Technology just might hold the answer.
There are a couple of ways that farmers can reduce their fossil fuel and their energy usage. Precision application adjusts the amount of fertilizer being applied on a field many times to foot by foot. Each square foot can receive a different level of fertilizer in response to the soil type, the soil quantity, the amount of fertilizer that's already in that soil across a field. And so what that allows a farmer to do is only place fertilizer in those areas that need the fertilization. Areas that don't, that fertilizer use is reduced or eliminated.
Agriculture is just really going to the new level. It's almost like space age. We are essentially space age farmers now with GPS. And that's where a map of the field is delineated maybe by soil type or by the amount of weeds that are located in a field. And you can put that on a map in your sprayer to put on different amounts of fertilizer or chemical. And as the farmer drives across the field, the GPS knows its location, the exact location, and once it reaches that area or polygon, the sprayer, the fertilizer applicator will actually change the rate as it goes through the field. And it'll do it pretty quick. Within 5 to 10 seconds, it might go from 20 gallon to an acre to 30 gallon. So the farmer sits there and watch it happen. It's like he's being a manager again and not having to flip a switch and have to do it manually.
While the summer of 2008 saw gas prices almost as high as $4 a gallon, a decline in prices was right around the corner, and consumers let out a sigh of relief.
In the latter half of 2008, as gas prices fell, certainly farmers were happy about it. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that, as was, I think, all consumers in the United States. However, I think farmers, just like most consumers, don't feel like that these current prices are really the long-term sort of level of prices. This is sort of a temporary phenomenon.
Even though the prices are down, a farmer knows not to depend on anything that's out of his control. In the meantime, Ohio farmers will prepare for the next year's harvest and all the unpredictabilities it will bring.
So what we have talked to farmers about is really going ahead, assuming that those higher energy prices will return when they make capital investment decisions, when they're purchasing equipment, when they're purchasing drying equipment, assume those higher prices, because I think most people, and certainly the markets, do expect at some point when the global economy recovers, those prices are going to go back up. So we look at right now as a temporary respite and an opportunity to have some extra capital to invest in efficiency.